Hey everybody, it's Adrian H of AHN Great Life. I'm a holistic wellness practitioner, and today I would like to speak to you about the regression hypnosis that I do, which I call holistic soul hypnosis. Alright, now I want to apologize in advance if the doggies do decide to bark at some point. Do apologize, but I really wanted to do this recording for you right now because it's raining outside, as you might be able to hear. Beautiful, so beautiful. And it's September 2019 at the moment here in Cape Town, South Africa, and it's like a summer rain, and it's a season of new beginnings, and it's spring here, so it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful rain that's falling, and I felt it was very appropriate because hypnosis is literally about letting go, which doesn't serve you in a positive way any longer, and then embracing what actually does. And first of all, hypnosis is not sleep. So you're not asleep. You are often quite aware of what's happening around you. In fact, your senses become hypersensitive. So they become kind of hyper peeped up in a way. All right. So what hypnosis is, it is a very deep form of relaxation, which enables you to focus very sharply on certain things. Alright, so the states that I usually work with is the theta state and the somnambulistic state, which is just really a very deep level of relaxation, and which enables your mind to really just take up information. So the conscious mind is kind of invited to take a seat to the back, and the subconscious mind comes forward. Alright, now the reason why this is important is because about 95% of your total mind consists of your subconscious. So your senses picks up absolutely everything that happens while you're awake, while you're asleep. And if you want to kind of make a comparison, from the 2 million bits of information that your senses perceive at any given point in time and feed to your subconscious mind, what the subconscious mind does is it filters out, because the job of the subconscious mind is to maintain your pattern of life, to maintain your stable conscious pattern of life. It doesn't have a preference whether this is good for you, whether this is bad for you. It just has a maintenance program basically going on. So so it filters kind of like the information out, all right, in a sense of what you become aware of. So literally when we say that 100 people can look, or 1,000 people can look at the same picture, and we don't all see the same picture, it is true, because you observe and you see from the point of what your subconscious mind makes you aware of. So subconscious mind picks up everything very chronologically, stores it, but doesn't consciously make us aware of everything. All right, and that is also where dreams come in, for example. Our dreams it's twofold. One, it's a way of your subconscious filtering and categorizing and storing, because nothing gets discarded. Storing everything that happened throughout the day, you're on the period, so this goes there, this goes there, this goes there. All right, and then obviously the other part is also when you go into a more spiritual realm, where in fact, you know, we always visit all these other planes and beings and, like, you know, existences in any case, because we are multidimensional. And when you have a dream, or what you call a dream, you just basically remember it. All right. It's interestingly enough also how clear cognizance works, which is where you just have a simple knowing of things, which is actually one of my strongest psychic abilities. I will just know stuff. And so I wanted to know, how does this work? And I wanted to know from my spiritual team, which I call Smile, or they said I can call them Smile. I've always liked smiley faces. So it is not that new information is really being presented to me, but it is that I remember it, and that is how that kind of works. All right, just as a point of interest. But then coming back to hypnosis, so what really happens is, from the 2 million bits of information that you perceive per second, less than 200 bits of that information actually comes up to your conscious mind. All right, and conscious patterns are, they're really put in place by what your beliefs are about life and about yourself. All right. So whatever you believe to be true for yourself and whatever you believe to be true for life, that is what your subconscious mind will feed to your conscious, and that then becomes your experience of life. So it's literally like the law of attraction. It is just that you can make it a bit faster. So instead of taking very long to get results, hypnosis gets you results very quickly. Because what happens is in a session, I will go and I'll say, okay, so say for example, you're coming to me with financial problems, all right? Um, then the financial problems that you have is a result of a certain pattern. So instead of looking at the result, we're looking at the cause. So take us back to a time in your mind, in this lifetime or another lifetime, where this pattern originated. And in that sense, you can then go down your current timeline where you currently are. So basically from the age that you currently are to the point of inception, which is, or conception, sorry, conception, all the way back to the womb. And that is called age regression. And it's actually quite amazing. I mean, I've had a client once that was, found herself in the womb and had a wonderful relationship with the parents and couldn't understand what was going on. But then while the child was in the womb, one of the parents didn't actually really want to have a child. But when they saw the child, and you got kind of excited, you're like, oh, my baby, and all love and light going forward. But that pattern has already been set, and going forward, that is then a pattern that affects you in senses of maybe I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, and that can then subsequently lead to other problems, getting into relationships that don't serve you properly, getting into financial situations that don't serve you properly, jobs, a whole lot of different things. So it is a whole kind of like a boomerang effect that can take place. All right. So the great thing about hypnosis is that you go directly to the cause. Where did this pattern originate from? And then when you can change that, everything else changes. All right. Something else to bear in mind is that every time when you recall a memory, we recall it differently. Okay. Believe it or not, a memory is only really a perception or a view or an opinion of something that happened. So if we went, say, you went to a party last week and you're not in a very good mood, and I asked you, hey, how was that party? How did it go? And you're like, it was so crappy. The company was so boring. Everything was so dull. The decor wasn't great. The drinks were warm. There wasn't any ice. I really didn't like the food. Like, but then if I ask you that same question and you're in a very good mood, you'll be like, you know what, it's not exactly what I expected. But one has to make the best of things in life, and it was actually quite nice. And once I just kind of opened my mind to it, I really enjoyed it, and it actually was nice. So you're talking about the same event, but you are recalling it differently based on your mindset. So when we do hypnosis, what we do is we first do what is called the induction. So I put you in a very, very light level of relaxation actually. It's like a guided meditation. I do something that is called conversational hypnosis, which is quite nice. I kind of speak to you, tell you a story, and then you start to relax and go into trance. And then we do what we call a deepener. And obviously I'm only giving you this information to understand what's happening. There's a whole lot of training that goes involved with this. It goes a lot deeper than what I'm giving you right now. It's not as simplistic. So please, please, please do not go and try this at home or anywhere else unless you know exactly what you're doing. Okay, because hypnosis is a beautiful modality. It can do a lot of good, but sometimes people say that, what about the safety aspect? If you know exactly what you're doing, 100% safe. But you can cause a bit of friction if you don't quite know what you're doing. So you don't want to do that. Okay. Anyway, so you go into a deepener, which is just where you go into a deeper state, where you go into the theta state, somnambulistic state, where you just go into a very deep level of trance. All right. And your subconscious mind remembers everything. The thing to remember though is that your subconscious mind knows the level of relaxation that you need to go to in order to receive the healing and the answers that you require. So the most important thing is to not have any expectations. Don't try to run the session. It is better to just come with an open mind and let it flow, and then you'll have beautiful results. Okay. But yes, hypnosis is very safe. And what makes hypnosis safe is a couple of things. One, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So I, as the hypnotist, is giving you the suggestions, for your mind to do, follow this, do that, do that. But you are actually the one who's doing it. All right. And also, holistic soul hypnosis, it is not anything like you see on television. So you're not going to go jump around and like quack quack like a duck and do stuff like that. It's nothing like that. All right. The session is administered by your subconscious mind. You are always in control. Your subconscious mind will not allow for you to do stuff or say stuff or reveal stuff that will embarrass you afterwards, that will incriminate you, anything like that. All right. The sessions are recorded, and the wonderful thing about the session being recorded, I find it very similar to my tarot card readings. When I do a tarot card reading, whatever guidance I get, I will just give it to the client. I don't question it. The same thing with your mind in hypnosis. But because the session is recorded, you may say something that might not mean very much to me. But to you, when you hear it afterwards, it will really kind of, make make that connection, just make it click, click. All right. So that is the wonderful part about having it recorded. Also, you won't remember everything because it's too much information. And the greatest part for me about the recording is that when you look back over your life 3 months later, 6 months later, even a year later, you can see how far you've come. Because yes, when you do one of these sessions, because we remove what doesn't serve you positively, the thought patterns and beliefs that doesn't serve you positively, and replace it with thought patterns and beliefs that do, your life tends to change very quickly in a very positive way and in a way that suits you best. But still, in the same sense, sometimes we as we move forward obviously in life, there are always challenges, and so sometimes you forget where you've been because you're kind of present with where you are now. So very good advice to see how far you've come in life with the session, or just in general, is to see how far you've come in life, and how far you've moved forward, even in a year's time. So hypnosis, not sleep. Also, and if the dog is too bark, please forgive me because it stopped raining now and the birds are coming out and it's so beautiful. As I said, sessions administered by your subconscious mind. Also, the other wonderful thing is that no matter where your mind decides to take you, it will be the best place for you. All right. So we spoke about age regression, where you go from the point where you currently are to the point of conception. Then we also have obviously past life regression, where you go into a previous life. Now, past life regression is a bit of a interesting one. And the reason why I say that is because we are multi-dimensional. Okay. And in my practices that I do, I work with Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I work with angel healing, crystal healing, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, metaphysical work, law of attraction, all those stuff. All right. So first of all, we are multidimensional, meaning we are not only living this life. You are a soul that can have many experiences. You will have what people often call fractals of light. All right. So you have many lifetimes at the same time. And because time and space is necessary to have certain experiences, you can experience yourself, like for example, it's 2019 now when I'm doing this video. So you will experience yourself as 12 September 2019, or in this another lifetime you will have, it will be 1850, you will have 3025, you will have 125 BC. So you are actually having all those experiences simultaneously. And sometimes when you dream and you feel yourself going to different dimensions, you actually just remember doing that. Okay. But what helps with past life regression is because the soul is one, having different experiences. So whatever you heal in this life, or what you heal in another life, it has an effect on the whole, on the global whole. And so that is what makes it very valuable. All right. And that is the point of time and space, for you to be able to experience different things at different times, but it is kind of all happening at the same time. All right. But don't think about that too much. That is not. I just kind of want to put that out there, because also somebody asked me about, for example, ancestral healing. How does that work? So ancestral healing is, for those of you who may be biblical people, uh, you don't have to be, but it's just an example that comes to mind, that it says that the sins of the forefathers will go on to the next generation. Okay? So what you have, your DNA carries knowledge, from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. So that is how you will get, like, this is the way that I look right now. Like I look a lot like my mother, for example. But then if you maybe go back into my family history, which I haven't done, but like just rhetorically speaking, you go back into my family history, then maybe you get 3-4 generations that don't really look like me, but then you go 5 generations back, and then they look exactly like me, you know? And then you can obviously call that reincarnation, or whatever you want to call it, but it is, our DNA carries memories. Our cells carry memories on a cellular level, on a molecular level. And the same way it also carries emotions. Like you would, for example, say that family gets a lot of cancer. Um, in my family, for example, diabetes is very predominant. And long before I did any of those work, my holistic work, I just decided I don't have time for diabetes in my life. And guess what? I'm diabetic. I'm diabetes free, and I'm a person who will very easily have chocolate cake and ice cream at 12 o'clock at night, very easily. Um, and I think I also got to understand that food is just energy. And so another thing I would say to myself is, I won't get fat, and I don't. I just don't. But it's what you tell your subconscious mind. Whatever you tell your subconscious mind is what it's going to believe. All right. So the way that ancestral healing works is that you kind of go back to whatever mind pattern or mindset or belief or whatever it may be was either implemented, maybe 1 generation back, maybe 100 generations back. So we can go as far back as then and heal those patterns. And the wonderful thing is that you don't only heal yourself, you heal all your different lives on all levels, and you also heal everything around you. Because life is a reflection of who you are. It's a mirror reflection of who you are. And that mirror reflection is determined by your belief about life and about yourself. And a lot of times the beliefs that we have are not even our beliefs, it's beliefs that have been ingrained into our minds. And in the same way, speaking of ancestral, obviously, families are brought up with certain beliefs. This one raises that one, this one raises that one. And so the same beliefs go through over and over and over. And because most of our mindset is determined into our life before the age of 3 years old, your own decisions, life, things, it's a lot of times things that have actually been ingrained into you. And whatever doesn't serve you positively, you can just release it. It is really that simple. And you replace it with things that do serve you positively. Now, the wonderful thing about these sessions is also that the blessings, the miracles, the beautiful experiences of life that were yours, they were always yours. And you may have not experienced them for whatever reason. The wonderful thing is when you have one of these sessions, then whatever was your birthright miracles, your birthright blessings, your birthright happiness, joy, whatever it may be, it just comes out. And so one of the modalities that I also work with, it is called future life progression. And that kind of works with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, And the thing is that I always say to people, everything in life is going to condition you in any case. Your mind is being conditioned or reinforced with certain beliefs all the time, all day long. Whether you believe it or not, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, is completely irrelevant to the fact that it is true. Be it marketing, be it advertising, be it stuff that people say, be it things that you say, be it whatever you are exposed to seeing, believing, experiencing, you are constantly having certain ideas presented to your mind and reinforced. And based on your beliefs about life, your subconscious mind will take it It will categorize it, and it will look and it will say, is this a belief that is true for you or not? Is this a belief that works for you or not? If your mind says, yes, this is a belief for you, pop, subconscious mind, experience of life. If it believes it's not for you, put it down there. But even though we are not consciously aware of everything, everything keeps on influencing us. All right. So if all else, even apart from the beautiful deep relaxation, because a lot of times people think when you have one of these sessions, you come out afterwards and you're gonna feel so tired. You feel refreshed. You feel beautiful. You feel like you can run the world from a cell phone. That is how beautiful you are, because you realize your potential, of who you are and who you've always been and who you'll always be. But so with the subconscious mind, even if you're not consciously aware of it, everything that happens around you does influence you. And if you want to think of it, it's almost like taking little bags of sand and keep on throwing it inside your house, and it gathers in the corners. Eventually it gets a bit nasty and filthy. So what you can do is you can sweep it to the sides, you can put it behind the cupboards, you can put it behind the couch, and you can use air freshener and all those type of things to make it smell nice and look nice, and polish your counters while you've got all your dust inside the cupboards. It doesn't change the fact that it is there. And it doesn't change the fact that it doesn't serve you in a positive way, because it's negative. It has got mildew and stuff will start to grow from it. The same applies with your subconscious mind. It is about clearing out what doesn't serve you positively, so it doesn't have a negative effect in the background. Okay? Because, for example, affirmations are incredible. They are fantastic. They are beautiful. But it is not enough to only focus on what you want. It is not enough to only think beautiful, positive thoughts and things happen. Okay? It does help, but this is not Peter Pan. This is your soul having a life experience, and it is about embracing all of life. And when you can then, so what we then do in hypnosis, as I said earlier on, we put you in the calmer state, then the deepener, then we take you to a safe place. So you recall a place that is completely safe for you, that at any point in time, if you need to revert back to a safe place, you can just go there. So before any memories are recalled, before you go to any past lives, anything like that, we first have that. So the experience itself is a pleasant experience. There is no need for it to be unpleasant. Now, we will find sometimes that emotions does become, a little overwhelming in a session. But then in the same sense, it's as simple as in stepping back and then becoming the observer of what's happening. So the whole experience in itself is just a beautiful, uplifting experience. Okay. The other thing that we also do is inner child healing, which is so important. If you can imagine, there's a beautiful little child inside you that just needs love, that just wants love. So we heal that inner child. And I would even recommend sometimes, take your inner child for a day out. Take your inner child to the beach. Be nice to your inner child. It really does help so much, because it's kind of like your emotions are being tended to your heart. All right. Yeah. And the other thing is also when we do a session together, I actually go into trance with you. So what I do is, same as I would do it, as I said, I'm a Reiki master, I do crystal healing, I do angel healing, all these beautiful things that I do. So what I do is I go into the session with you. I connect to you. Same as I would do in a Reiki session, energy healing session. I connect to you, and so then I let my higher self come out, because the session is administered by your higher self, your oversoul, your subconscious mind, whatever you want to call it. You go into the quantum field of all knowing, where there are no secrets. And it's almost a little bit like channeling. So you go into the quantum field, all is there, and then you like zzz, ping in what it is that you need for you. Okay, so that's basically how it works. And a lot of times I remember when people listen to the recordings, they're like, how do you always ask the right questions? And I'm like, because what I do is I become a conduit for the higher self, for the greatest good of all, to filter through me. And I kind of step into that space of how can I serve? How can I help? And then when that flows through me, somehow it may seem and feel like just a great conversation, but it's about being one. It's about being connected. It's about always for the greatest good of all. The one question that I always ask clients, when they come to me is, are you interested in expanding your life in positive ways? You don't need to know how to do it. You must just have the willingness to do it. Okay? The universe will take care of the rest for you. But yeah, so beautiful decisions. And also something to bear in mind is that it doesn't matter what deep level of trance you go to. If for any reason whatsoever you need to wake up, you will become fully alert just like that. I wouldn't need to say anything. I wouldn't need to do anything. You will simply become present, fully present. Okay. So in that way, it's safe. There's no funny shenanigans that can happen. All right. Also, nobody can really make you do anything that you don't really want to do. So whatever happens, whatever you say, wherever you go, it will always be in flow with who you already are. On a deeper level, your truth. So don't be worried about things coming out that will embarrass you, that will incriminate you. The work that I do is not about that. The work that I do is about improving your life. And the wonderful thing is when you have one of these sessions, your life improves quickly, beautifully, easily, effortlessly, in a way that actually works for you best. Okay? It's like some magical, I don't know, fountain is just opened and it just flows, to the level that you are ready and that you want. And the thing is, we work on the things that don't serve you positively, whatever it is, self-love, or confidence, faith, belief, whatever, whoever said to you at whatever point in time, which is so important. And so one of three things will happen when you go into a session. You will either be gone like a light, remember absolutely nothing. Very few people have that experience. You may be very present and it may feel like just a daydream, because remember, hypnosis is not sleep. So it may actually feel like you're just having a daydream, which is also perfectly fine. Or most people are somewhere in between. What I find is the more you just trust the process and go with it, the easier you just go into it. So it is about saying whatever comes first and trusting that that is the right thing for you. All right. So whatever comes to mind first, whether it is that you see something, you smell something, you hear something, or sometimes you will get nothing. You will say, "I'm getting nothing. It's just darkness." We go with that. Because remember, for example, the experience that I mentioned earlier on, where where my client said, "I feel very constrictive. I'm in the space where it's dark. I can't see anything. So can you feel around? Can you touch it? It feels kind of warm. It doesn't feel unsafe." And then that client was actually in the room. But in the same experience, it could just be that you end up somewhere where it's just maybe dark. But whatever comes to your mind first, you just go with that. And the more you go with it, the more beautiful you just go into the session. And remember, it's all about healing. It's all about expanding your life in beautiful, positive ways. All right. Yeah, so for me personally, I think this is one of the most beautiful ways that I'm honored to assist humanity. I'm very privileged to be able to do it. It makes my heart feel amazing. And as I said, the experience is very calming and it's very beautiful and it's very relaxing. And just with NLP, because a lot of people sometimes ask me about that. So NLP is short for Neuro-linguistic programming, which is really based on the metaphysical beliefs that was, especially brought forward by Louise Hay of Hay House. Some of you may know her. That, the thoughts you think and the words you speak create your experience of life. NLP is more goes slightly into the more scientific side, why that works. It's got a bit of psychology in there, but that's wonderful because, and also NLP goes quite closely in hand with hypnosis, because it is about recognizing the mind patterns that don't work for you, moving them away, replacing them with ones that do. So with future life progression, which I make part of every single session, because you are in this highly receptive state, so why not just do it? Why not just help you build a beautiful life? So I'll be like, ideally, what would you like your life to be? So you would say, maybe in a year from now, I would like to, I don't know, have my own house. And then you go like, okay. So then we ask to the subconscious mind, because the conscious mind might not be aware of things, but the subconscious mind will, and say, okay, perfect, you can have your own house in a year from now, but let's consider the following. For example, say you're a family man, you've just got a baby, your wife likes it when you're home more. So you can have this, but if you maybe want to, how about we constructively work on maybe a 2-year plan? Then in the interim, you can do this, and that, so you still get what you want, but it serves you positively. Or it can actually say to you, we can have it in a faster way, if you consider doing it this way, and that way. So it is all about living your best life that serves you positively. And the thing is, once you put a belief in the mind, in the subconscious mind, your subconscious mind will find a way to make that happen. From all the information that it is being presented with, it's going to find a way to push it into your consciousness, make you aware of opportunities you may not have been aware of before, because now your beliefs are different, your thought patterns are different, your aims are different, your goals are different, you are different. That is how your life improves beautifully, quickly, easily, effortlessly. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So obviously people also ask me sometimes, is it enough to have just one session, or do you need to have more than one? My general experience is that you only really need to have one session. Okay. Sessions can be quite long. I sent you a very detailed email beforehand, and the reason why I'm making this video, in fact, is because a lot of people don't like to read a lot, and I'm one of those people. So you can either read or you can watch the video. But then I will explain to you exactly what hypnosis is, what it is not, and also I like you to make a list with about, say, 20 maximum items, things that you might want to know about your life. Why are certain people in your life? What is your soul plan? What is your purpose? What is the reason for this? What is the reason for that? Maybe getting some answers for illnesses or people in your life. Are we soul family? All those type of things. That's actually quite amazing. And the list is very important, because when you make the list, your mind actually starts to work on solutions already. So it's imperative that you actually, listen to the list. I also have another video that is just a little exercise, and I'll put it in the link for this one. Just beautiful for preparation, because the more times you hear my voice, the more you will build a trust and a connection with us, because we're all one and we strengthen that connection. But also, the more times you go into trance, when you actually come for your actual session, the deeper you go into trance very easily. Okay. The reason why I work with crystals in my sessions is because crystals are just, they emit certain, crystals emit energy that doesn't change. The human body is mostly made out of water. The water absorbs the energy, and that is basically 101 of how crystal healing works. So if you maybe need to, we want to elevate, maybe let you to get into a much calmer space, we want to connect with the angels, because I work with the angels, or maybe I just want to put you in a calm space, I want to make you feel relaxed, instead of having to take 10 minutes to talk you through that, for you to kind of do it yourself, because I'm only the one speaking, you're the one doing. The crystals can just do that for you. So it saves a lot of time, and it's just beautiful. And crystals are just amazing. Reiki, because we have the connection of energy, and angels that help with healing, moving forward, making your life beautiful. Okay. When you do, obviously I do in-person sessions and I also do online sessions, but I really, really love my in-person sessions, just because I like having the person there. I've really been racking my mind to find if I can think of anything more beautiful than watching somebody go into trance. It is absolutely beautiful, because you are so totally relaxed, your whole body relaxed, your facial muscles relaxed. It is just beautiful to watch it happen. It is so beautiful. Sometimes people have beautiful experiences, like my latest client experienced being a cloud. So that was one of the lifetimes that she went to. And I'm sorry, she actually visited the fairy realm. And this is the wonderful thing for me. Every single session that I have, every single one, I always learn something new. And whatever I learn, I do my best to teach to others. because that is how we help humanity and the global consciousness ascend. And it's a beautiful honor task to be able to do that. So when you come to the session, I dedicate 4 hours of my time to you. So the first half, and maybe 20 minutes or so, 20-25 minutes, we just go over everything, go over your list, do a bit of exercises with hypnosis, because hypnosis is a state that you generally go into naturally in any case. So a lot of people will say that I can't be hypnotized, and in fact it is not true. For the very simple reason, you go into hypnosis several times a day in any case. Okay. So 2 of the times that you go into is if you ever recall when you knew that you're about to fall asleep or you knew that you're about to wake up. That is the state that you go to. That's the theta state. Okay. The somnambulistic state is when you can basically just daydream. You completely, like you drive a regular, a familiar road home, and you suddenly wake up and you're like, how did I get here? You don't remember driving the road. Or when you make yourself a cup of coffee or tea or whatever your drink of choice may be, you've been having the same choice of drink probably for a long time. So you make it quite subconsciously. You don't really think about it. That is a state of hypnosis. That is exactly what the state is. So it is a natural state that you're going to. You're not doing anything new, unfamiliar, haven't done before. All right. So anybody can go into a state of hypnosis. There is like the 10% that either feel that they can't go, they don't trust the information, which is fine. For that, we do a service called a surrogate. So I'm I've always been quite a psychic person. And speaking of psychic, it's called psychic ability. It's not this gift that only certain people have. You can develop it, you can work on it. I work on it all the time. So we all have it. We are all just not so in tune with it. It's like, what example can I use? I don't know. Anybody can drive a car. Some people are not very good drivers, like me, for example. Other people are excellent drivers, but obviously if I work at it, then I can become an excellent driver, and that is just really how life is. That is how it works with psychic ability as well. Everybody has it, but if you want to work on it, you can work on it. Obviously I do classes and stuff on that as well. But so if you ever in your whole life ever had a daydream, or if you could ever imagine something, then you can go into the state of hypnosis, because that is what we do. All right. So when you come about 20 minutes or so, 20-25 minutes, address questions that you may have, do some hypnosis exercises, so you kind of get the feel for it, because it's quite easy. You literally start off by, we just take a nice deep breath. And then you let go. Because when you focus on your breathing, it's actually not possible for you to focus on other stuff. So it is just really to kind of get your mind to a certain point of focus and relaxation. Actually the focus will take you into the relaxation. So whether you use a pendulum that you spin around, whether you just use a little story that you tell. I mean, it's at this point also that I use your own words. Like in the pre-consultation that we have, I listen, to what you say, how you say it, what's your body language. Are you a more visual kind of person? How does your mind operate? And it's important because by listening to that, I'm able to take you into trance easier, because I will use your wording and even use your body language. Because even though your eyes are closed, your senses are still picking things up. In fact, when you go into these sessions, people become hypersensitive to energy. It's almost everybody basically becomes psychic. You will be maybe on the ground level of a building where the session is taking place, and a fire can start on the 10th floor, and you will know, and you will wake up. And that is why I'm saying the sessions are actually very safe for you to have. But so once you're done with that, then if you're a coffee drinker, you can have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever. And I'm even okay with people having a smoke before the session if you are nervous. Because it's all about being calm. When you give your mind a command, it's going to listen. Like say, for example, say the neighbor's dogs are barking. and it bothers you. It bothers you because at some point in time, the message has been given to your subconscious mind that this is bothering you. Now, there was a time when I was much younger when I used to work in a nightclub, in a strip club actually, where ladies, were stripping, and I was a barman. And I would get so tired sometimes because you work very long hours, and you would literally fall asleep on a crate of cool drink or beer or whatever it is, and you'll be gone like a light. And since then I realized to myself, if I can fall asleep on this seemingly uncomfortable space, then I can do anything with my mind. And that's just how it is. So if you tell your mind that it's not a problem anymore, then I'm telling you, those dogs can go crazy. It won't bother you because you have been given a different command. You gave your subconscious mind a different command, and that's what brings you to your conscious mind. Okay. So then do the induction. Everybody's induction is normally different. Some people go into trance in 10 minutes. Some people go into trance in 25 minutes. Some people take 50 minutes. It doesn't matter. But what I do is I balance your chakras, your energy systems. I cleanse your aura. All those type of things. Remove any ideas why this may not work. So by the time you start your session, you're already in that very beautiful space. And then the length of a session differs. Your subconscious mind will tell me as the hypnotist how long the session is going to be. So it can be anything from an hour and a half, or sometimes up to 2.5 hours. But the norm is normally about 2 hours, plus minus. Okay. And then afterwards, for about half an hour, I would just like you to stay with me, and I just keep on talking to you, reinforcing positive thoughts and beliefs into your mind, because at this point in time your mind is still highly receptive to anything that is presented with. So I don't just want to send you out there into the world, because if you are presented with something that is not positive, your mind is going to absorb it, and it's going to become part of your pattern of life. So that is basically how the sessions are broken up. So the hypnosis part itself is normally only about 2.5, 3 hours for the most, and that includes the induction, the deepener, the session itself, and bringing you out of the session where you feel beautifully wonderful, fresh, and relaxed. And that is what I do. If you've got any questions, please feel free to forward them to me, to ask them to me. But thank you so much for listening, and love and light. Namaste. Bye.